Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. In my practice, I encourage people to journal like almost all the time. No, every day I do encourage my clients to journal. Not everyone, but most of the clients that I work with, I highly encourage journaling. Now, I always get resistance when someone's first trying to make a change, but that's normal. But it's not so much resistance where I wouldn't force it upon them. All that to say, I work with the individual and make sure that we come up with a style of journaling that works for them. So for some of my clients, they really enjoy just at the end of the night doing a brain dump. A lot of my clients like in the morning to just journal their thoughts. Some of my clients have these like fancy journals that, prompt them. And then what I've provided for some other clients is some journal prompts for them to help them so it doesn't take them, they don't need a certain amount of time to do this. I mean, it might take them a couple minutes, but they don't need to spend hours doing it. They can actually make a mental note, although I do think that there's something special about putting pen to paper, but they can also kind of just run through these 4 journal prompts that I'm going to go over with you today mentally, and it's just as effective. And it's sometimes helpful when you kind of have a guide rather than just looking at a blank piece of paper and being like, I don't know what I want to write, And so really, first thing I just want to go over is that nobody should be seeing this. This is not for anybody. This is just for you. You don't need to reread your journal entries later, although if you want to, but really the whole purpose of it is to help you to, whether it's in the beginning of the day or the end of the day, to either set the intention for the day or to end the day on a positive note. I really encourage you to do it on your bookends. The reason why, meaning when I say bookends, I mean morning or night, the beginning of your day or the end of your day, because of the fact that I find that, especially when you're trying to create a new habit, the things that you do that you have the most control over, and if you do it in the morning or the night, those tend to be pretty standard, whereas you often start your day very similar, or you have more control of it in the morning, and you also end your day very similar and have some control over that. The middle of the day is a little crazy, right? You have to drive the kids to school. You get on a call that goes longer than you expected. You need to maybe make yourself some food. You make time for a workout. You didn't get to do your workout, all the things that happen. And then you're like, oh man, I didn't even journal today. I meant to journal today. So first, let me just explain why I encourage journaling so much. So I believe that it is a great opportunity for us to be introspective. And although I can provide a ton of education and guidance and teaching and all of the things, unless you really know who you are, nothing that I teach you is going to be helpful. So I believe in journaling as a way to be introspective and guiding and grounding in a crazy, chaotic world where we're always doing something, we're always on the go, or we're super busy, and we don't often check in and ask, like, how am I feeling? How am I doing? Right? So I think it's really important, and especially if you struggle with emotional eating or binge eating, which is a lot of the people that I work with, that's what they struggle with. I find that after we teach the education component about the food, and I get them to understand that there's no good or bad foods and their relationship with food is healed, and they have even like an individualized nutrition plan to follow. Even after all that, like, we're human, right? So our emotions can often get in the way, and so we could have the best quote unquote eating day, but if we're having a crappy emotional day, chances are the food is going to be affected at one point or another. Okay. So I find journaling to be really helpful, really grounding, to help with the consistency as you're trying to apply whatever healthy habits and behaviors you're implementing. I think if you can ground yourself, it will help with you being consistent, which will help you with you yielding more sustainable results. Okay. All right. So here are the prompts. Okay. The prompts are the first one. So let me first preface by saying this. It can be really overwhelming at first, but I don't want you to be overwhelmed. So if you only want to do one prompt each day, that's totally fine. If you want to do 2, if you want to do 3, if you want to do all 4, totally okay. The whole purpose is getting in the habit to sit yourself down and to check in, okay? So first question, how am I? How am I feeling, more specifically? This gives you a chance to acknowledge your feelings. This doesn't need to be a good feeling or a bad feeling. Really try to detach yourself from classifying a feeling as good or bad. It could be anything, and be honest. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I'm going to ask you this right now. If you're driving, if you're listening to this, if you're writing, whatever it is, jot it down, think about it, make a mental note. How are you feeling right now? How are you feeling? Acknowledge that, okay? The second part to this, the second journal prompt is, I am grateful for. So share what you're grateful for. And I'm going to challenge you to also say why. This is a bonus, but I am grateful for X because it helps me Y. Okay? So I am grateful for reminds you that even on your worst day, when things aren't working in your favor, you can still have a good day. Meaning when things, even on your worst day, there are still things working in your favor. That's what I mean. So I am grateful for the sunshine because it lifts my mood. So maybe your morning started out not so great, but you were able to go outside for a walk, and so you're looking at the sun. I am grateful for the sunshine because it helps to boost my mood. So make sure to include that because to really understand kind of why, okay? And that's really, really important. The third journal prompt is a positive affirmation. So I am successful. I am confident. I am caring. I am compassionate. I am kind. I am prosperous. I am abundant. I am beautiful. I am healthy. Whatever it is that you are striving to become, make sure that you say it with confidence. So I am blank, and using it as a positive affirmation is going to give you that confidence boost you need. It's going to shift your energy into focusing on this is the person that I am, and believe it. Try to believe it that you are now. So if you're on this, you're trying to get more money, right? And you want to be rich. I am rich. If you think I am poor, it's going to bring you down and you're going to do things that align with being poor. I am rich is a different shift in energy. It brings you to that abundance place. It helps you to think, what would a rich person do, right? How would they engage in? Would they be stressing about the fact that they can't pay their bills? No. They would be enjoying their life, and honestly, they would be confident in that, okay? And then the last thing, your fourth journal prompt, is to pick your word of the day. And if you're doing this at night, it could be maybe how you are choosing to end the day. What it really is, the purpose of being able to choose your word of the day is it's going to direct your energy and attention to the person you strive to be. So very similar to the positive affirmation, it's just another way in doing that. So my word of the day is, and then decide kind of how you want to be that day. So the word of the day could be focus. It could be joy. It could be faith. It could be love. It could be compassion. It could be patient. It could be the truth. My word of the day is truth. So I'm going to stay in my truth, right? I'm not going to do things that don't align with who I am, right? I'm going to be honest up front, all of those things. So making sure that you do these, I would say, on a daily basis would be awesome, but if you did them weekly, that'd be great. Anytime, if you did them one time in the whole month and you never did it before, I think that's awesome. But ideally, it'd be good to get this into a practice, okay? So, and the reason why, like I said, I work with people who struggle with emotional eating the most. If you can take charge of your emotions, then that's going to be amazing, because then the food's not going to take over you. Okay, so it's really, really important that you have some type of grounding practice, some sort of guiding questions that can help you with journaling and introspection. And I think these are a good fit for you. All right, so I'm going to just quickly go over them. So journal prompt number 1, how am I feeling? Journal prompt number 2, I am grateful for blank, and try to say because or why. Journal prompt number 3, I am, and do something that has a positive affirmation behind it. And then 4th, pick your word of the day, your intention. How are you choosing to be today? Okay? All right. I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, definitely take a screenshot of this episode, share it on your story, tag me at tips_with_Tony with an I. If you're not already subscribed to the podcast, definitely go and hit that subscribe button or that follow button wherever you listen. If you feel so inclined, if you want to give me a nice rating and write a little review, I would so appreciate it. The more ratings that we have, the more comments that we get, the more people find the podcast, which means more people are getting this message, which means they're going to be more healthier, happier, more abundant, wholesome, well-being individuals out there on this planet. And I would really greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, that is it for me today. As always, I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.